Is the video of the Salsa build. For all the people that are wondering about the weight, use these digital hanging scales. So bear in mind, this is with the seat collar on and the headset cups. For all you people that are really keen on the weight, I've even left the stickers on, okay? So this frame comes out at 2.6 kilograms. Okay, that's as it is here, 2.6 kilograms, no axles in, but it has got the headset cups and, like I say, the seat collar. The fork came in without the axle at 0.7, so that's 3.3 kilograms for the frame and the fork, and in pounds, I did a Google conversion, and that is 7.2 pound. So for the frame and the carbon fork, 7.2 pound. Right, so what I'm going to do first off is I'm just going to get the seat post in, and then that's somewhere else to grab the frame on the stand. I'm going to grease up these threads here, put a bit of grease in these cups here, and then get those on, and then we'll take it from there, eh? My brother's going to be dropping some bikes off in a bit, so if the door knocks, that's what it is. Grease. Some grease in these cups here. Sorry, not on these threads. And just a little bit of grease round here. I don't know what your thoughts are about this, but this has come with the nut on the inside. Normally I'd be having it on the outside, but I'm thinking that could have some benefit because it's not going to get crudded up with mud and stuff. So I'll leave it there for the time being. And you also get a nice clean look on the back of the bike. Let's get this bottom bracket in, eh? So like I say, this was off another bike. It's just a Shimano one, Shimano Mountain, so it's the 72mm. Shows on here which way to tighten because that side is opposite, the right hand side. You would be normally tightening that way. Always be careful with these threads. If you feel like there's any resistance there, then just back it off and double check it, make sure you're not cross threading it. Now to tighten them up I have various tools. This is just a park tool that has that diameter, but they are different sizes of some stuff. So you've got these inserts that could go in, you've got these that you can just do with a spanner, work pretty much the same. That might be the right size as well. Yep. So there's various tools you can use for that all do the same job, just attached to different handles in different ways. Now I'm going to put this crank on. I'm just going to grease up that bit a little bit. So when you push this through and then you put your pedal on the other end, you have this that goes into the end of the crank arm, and you just tighten this up just enough so that there's no play, and then you can tighten these bolts up here. I'm just basically going over some quick principles about how cranks fit and stuff. They all vary, fitting them slightly different, so I'm not going into real detail, but the principle of it is generally the same with most part by parts. Just the tools you use might be slightly different, but most of the time the principle is the same. You're just wanting to tighten up. It's the same with your headsets. You're just wanting to tighten bearings just enough so there's no play, because you don't want them too tight to compress the bearings because you're going to get extra wear. You don't want them too slack, otherwise your fittings will feel loose. So it's generally the same concept with most things like that. So this is the end. It's just plastic, so you know that it can't be designed to be that tight if it's just plastic. So all this is doing now is just pushing these two crank arms together. Like I say, you just want it just enough so there's no play. And that seems okay. Happy with that for now. Once I've got it on the floor, and I can put my feet on it, I can really see if there's any play in it then, so I'll just nip these up lightly for now. Okay, so next I'll get the headset in, and then we can get the bars on. So with the frame set, you actually get the headset, which is very good. It's a Cane Creek 40, so a very good headset. And you get the bung for the fork. Because it's a carbon fork with a carbon steerer, you can't use a star nut, because that will split everything up. So let me get the forks. So here we have the forks. So this chamfered edge of the bearing is going to sit in there. That chamfered edge is going to sit down. That's going to sit on the top there like that. Right, with this, it doesn't have a split in it. Normally they have a split in, so you can just slide them on nicely. This doesn't, and it might need a bit of a push. It does. So what I'm going to do for this, I'll show you another tool. So here we have a crown race. This just goes on there. Oh, now this flares out a little bit too much. Have I got a tool? So with this one tool that we put crown races on, you do get other adapters, but these might all be too narrow. Yes, they are. Now, there is another strategy here. If you've got any waste pipe, you know, the plastic waste pipe, then that can go on there and you can actually hit that down and that will work as well. So I'm going to find some. Went down into my cellar and I found this plumbing socket, which sits on there nicely, but then still needed a bit of something else. So I found another plumbing socket which fits in there nicely, and then the part that does come with the bearing press just sits inside that socket nicely, and then it's a case of putting this on there and holding it and hammering it down. You can see that it's getting close. It's not going on square yet, but once that's touched down, then that side should hopefully get on okay. And what I'm going to do is just keep on banging this, holding the fork. I wouldn't put anything on there because that's going to damage your carbon. So I'm just holding it and then just hammering the end, and hopefully it will go on shortly. Okay, the glory moment, you can see that just around that now. It's nearly there. And it's on. Okay, close-up of what we've done so far. So I pushed that crown race on there using my invention. So a bit of plastic drain pipe, and then the actual tool just fit in there, just because the fork was a bit too thick for the tool, so I just had to make that up. And I've just put the stem on temporarily now, just so the forks don't fall through when I'm messing around with it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bars on, and then I'm going to put the brake calipers on. So I'll put the bars on, and then I've got something to hang things to. So order, bars, brakes, rear derailleur. So as I was saying, these are the cow chipper bars. Not as flary as the wood chipper, I believe, but they still have a nice flare to them, just to give you that control off-road. Just put those on loosely for now. So here we have the front brake. So with these Cane Creek levers, the nut is just pull the lever down. Sorry, these are Tektro levers. The rear brake. So now I'm just going to fasten the calipers on. These were off a similar bike, so I'm hoping that I don't need to cut down any cables and cable housings and stuff. I'm hoping that it is just going to be a straightforward fix. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wheels in to see if I need any adapters for the brakes. Okay, apologies, I was just getting carried away and I keep on forgetting to press record. So, the Bb7 brakes, if I just show you them down here, these bolts that go through the brakes are, they're a set thread and you can't take them out. So the rear one's okay because this was a IS to post mount, so the threads didn't matter there, so I could keep that 160 on. On the front I had a 180 on this brake, on this wheel should I say, and the threads weren't long enough to go through an adapter, so I had to get the 160 off that whiskey wheel there, put the 180 on that, which is better because that's the front wheel for a mountain bike, and then put the 160 on here, and it means that the threads could then go in. So that's where I'm up to at the moment. Rear mech is on this side. I've swapped over the cassette to a big 50 odd one because what was on was just this, I think it went up to a 42 or a 46, something like that. So yeah, we're nearly there. All I'm going to do next is just get all these cables tied up so they're out of the way, and then it's a case of just figuring out where the levers are going to go, putting on the Microshift shifter with Paul Components Thumbies, so we've got thumb shifter on the top. And this is a good bit of kit because I don't need to take anything off because it's hinged, so you can just put that on afterwards. So I'll get that on. To summarise, zip tie it up, get the handlebars and stuff where I want them, and then I'll come back to you. I don't bother filming stuff like that because I know you're not interested in watching people zip tie stuff together, are you? So I'll come back to you in a bit, eh? Okay, this is where I'm at so far. I know there's a lot of distraction there with the stand and the radiator, but I'll just talk through where I'm at the moment. Took a bit of time actually figuring out this front bit here because I wanted to make sure that all this was in the right place, because Rachel likes to ride with her removable auto-leave bag, or we've got the Super C one as well that uses this click fix system. So as you can see, when this bag is on, I'm doing this one-handed, I apologise. So when this bag is on, I didn't want the lever interfering with the bag there, so it could actually go down a little bit more. Now we'll just try to get the right angle between the lever and the bag, just even it out. That lever could actually go down a little bit more, which I might do. I suppose if that bag gets full up, should be okay. So I might just move that lever down a little bit more. And the bag's at an okay angle. It's not touching the frame or anything like that, so that's good. Put all the cable ties on, just need to cut those off in a bit. So the next thing to do now is just, I believe, put the cable through the inner for the mech and then get the chain on. Is I've cut down the fork a little bit. I used my guide and a new blade just to keep it nice and level. And then the bung comes in two parts. So you've got this part that slides into the fork and then you tighten it up here. Now this replaces a star washer, star nut that you bang down into like a steel fork. Because this is carbon, you can't use one of those. So this compression plug, when you tighten that up, it expands and then it holds into the fork. Then you need to put some spacers on the top, and your spacers have to come proud of there, because then when you put your cap end in, it's going to pull and try and close that gap that you've left with that spacer, and then it's going to pull up the forks and then you just do that tight enough so that you don't have any play. Notice that my stem is loose because you want the forks to move up and compress the bearings, but just enough so there's no play. So that's what I'm going to do now. So my stem is loose. You can see it's moving around. This inner gets tightened to, I think it says on it, 8 Newton. So you could feel that when it clicked. So you can see the stem's still loose. So now, put the spacers on the top. And that is flush, that's no good. So I need one extra. And I want to make sure that the Salsa sign is looking straight at me, because that would do my head in if I was riding and it wasn't. So when I say I'm checking for play, if I put the brake on and try and move, I can feel there's lots of play there. So now all I'm going to do is keep on tightening this up, and hopefully we'll start to eliminate it, which it has just started to there, which is good. Sometimes you might feel there's play, but it's just the wheel moving because I haven't fastened the brakes up yet. So there's no play in that at all now. So that's tight enough, and then it's just a case of lining it up and tightening the stem up. Just alternate those and not too much pressure. You'll be able to feel it when it's tight enough. Now, as you can see, it's getting a bit messy in here. The bike is looking sexy as hell though, look at that. So I am just going to have a tidy up and then crack on with the finishing touches to that. I put the chain on, and because the chain came off the bike with this smaller cassette, there's just not enough length for the chain to get into the bigger ring, so I'm just going to get some extra links and put those in. But yeah, we are definitely nearly there. So what I have to do next, extra links in there, make sure it goes into big gear, bar tape, cut off the ends of the cable ties, and I can't think of anything else. Oh, stay tuned though, because I've got all these goodies to put on it. We've got anything cages, frame bags, and salsa rack, and I'll be talking through those in detail because it's the first time I've had anything like that, some fancy gear. It's looking really sexy. Okay, what do you think? There it is. So this is not the end of the video. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to weigh it, because I know people will want to know how much it weighs, as is, built up. Just bear in mind when I weigh it, it has got a bell on, and it's also got the click fix adapter. But I'll talk to you in a second. I'll just get it weighed. Okay, that is 11.6, I believe it was 11.6 kilograms for that beauty. So that is a lovely weight for that, for what you get in there, a full-on drop bar mountain bike that can take 3-inch in 29er and 3-inch in 27.5. And it looks absolutely amazing, doesn't it? So what am I going to do now? I'm going to, I've got loads of these Gorilla Tape patches, so I'm just going to go through those and stick those in all the relevant places, and then I'm going to put all this on and I'm going to talk you through this gear, and I'll give you my thoughts as I'm putting that on, if that's okay. Okay, so I'm glad I've done that. So I put some tape on both sides on there, because if you're leaning your bike up, that's probably going to Gonna get it. I've put a long sheet across the top there, and it makes that matte paint look a bit shinier, but it's worth it. Obviously got some around both sides there, and then I just put some on the forks. It actually looks better in real life than it does on that camera there. Just because if it's got bags on and stuff, it's going to rub, and then also where that cable is rubbing there. You can't actually see that tape on the forks in real life, it's just showing up. Looking good. So what did I say it was? 11.6 kilograms in this current state. So let's get it dressed up in all the bike packing gear, because the story does not end here. So tomorrow I'm going to be taking this now, and I'm going to be doing the Hadrians Wall coast to coast route, because I do a coast to coast route every year with students. We take about 46 students every year, and they ride coast to coast. They carry their own gear, cook their own food, and we're doing a different route this time. It's a route that I've done before, but I'm going to stop at the campsites that I'm going to be stopping at with the kids. So that's where that's going to be tested out. I set off tomorrow, and yeah, looking forward to that. So I'll be talking through the Hadrians Wall route, and also doing a review on the bike and how it feels. But that's for another video. Let's get this stuff on the bike, and we can see how sexy it looks, and I'll get it dressed up and get it loaded and get it packed ready for tomorrow. Well, there is the baby, all built up and packed up. Well, not packed up, it's all empty. I haven't got all my stuff together yet, but it looks lovely, doesn't it? Now, I did see some reviews online about these digging into your, someone had some hook, you know, bomb track hook forks, and they dug in and left a mark. And I think he might have, I don't know, I'm not going to say, I don't know if he tightened up too much or not. He said he did them to 2 newtons. I just did them to where I just felt they nipped up with my fingers. So they didn't dig in. I put some tape on there as well to protect against it. So we'll see what they're like in use. The frame bag was a bit finicky, just with this bit here, and the straps are just, they're just a bit too solid for now. With use, they're just going to loosen up and get a bit easier. But yeah, everything's just a bit too stiff at the moment. You know, with it just being new, and it just a bit awkward. The rack was a strange one. I presumed it would fasten in there, and I'm thinking, how the hell can it go in there, in that hole there? Because then it lowered the rack down, and the tyre was in the way. You couldn't even get it that low. So I'm thinking, have I got the wrong rack? And then I thought, get the instructions out, Dylan. So I got the instructions out, and basically you take the bolts out of here on both sides, and on this side it goes into the brake adapter there as well. So they give you lots of different size bolts. You put a lot of spacers through there. So you make sure you've got a gap between the rack, can't really see that, yeah, the rack and the actual frame. Don't want anything rubbing on the frame, that was in the instructions. So yeah, it surprised me did that, because I just thought it'd be screwing in there, but it didn't. But it's on there now, looking sweet. So yeah, I'm getting this packed up now, and then I'm doing that Hadrians Wall route, so that'll be another video for you. So I know at the end of this stuff you have to say something like, so leave something in the comments, what bar tape would you have picked? All that sort of malarkey. You don't have to. What would you have done? Would you have put the saddle there, or would you have put the saddle there? Comment below. Please don't. So, but look how nice that looks. Oh my word. Oh my word. Now it's probably a bit of overkill all them bags for just this 3-day trip, but I'm going to be doing my cooking, and also it's a good practice because in the summer we're going away for 2 or 3 weeks around France, doing a bit of bike packing, a bit of cycle touring to a bike packing route, and then cycle touring back. I don't even know why I'm using a different terminology. We're travelling by bike for 3 weeks. There we go. Can't stand all this different bike packing, gravel packing. It's all touring by bike. Don't care what you say. So, look how sweet that looks. Oh my word. Looking forward to this. So, this is the end of this video. If you want to see how well it does on the route, and you want to see the Hadrians Wall route, then please, it'll be in the videos after this one. So I just thought I'd show you some pictures of the bike. So that's it from one side. And here it is with the tent on, and the bags are loaded now. And the protective tape. Here you can see the cockpit with my GPS and the Microshift shifters, and see how they fit around the stem. Here is a close-up of the Avid Bb7 brakes, and I'm really impressed with these. I didn't think mechanical disc could be so good, and you can see them in action in the next video. Here we have a close-up of the frame bag Velcro, and those are going to soften up and just be easier to use through use. And you can see what it looks like from the front with those flared bars. So the very next day I tested this out on the Hadrians Wall route, and it's a brilliant video, or I had a brilliant experience anyway. So please, watch the next video and see the bike in action and get a really good insight into the route.